What's next? What's next?
Whatever I want, I get. What's next? Jail's next. Diddy. We knew this day would come. We kind of already knew that guilty was the direction that he was going. Everything was suspicious. Cassie's case was already enough for us to realize this is probably a very, very dangerous man who has a lot of information on a lot of people, which is why he is so powerful. But you're not too powerful to get caught. You're not too powerful to have your day in court. The Lord is shutting it down, okay? Each and every evil, wicked person who are or were or are currently gatekeepers in the industry, who are taking advantage of people, their dreams, their goals, their desires, they're coming down. And Diddy is one of them. But before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Your thoughts on this situation.
Breaking news now. The indictment against Sean Diddy Combs has just been unsealed. Combs is being charged with racketeering conspiracy, alleging he ran an enterprise that he engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, or kidnapping, arson, and other crimes. He's also charged with sex trafficking by force. I want to bring in ABC's Phil Lipoff, ABC News contributor and SiriusXM radio host Mike Muse, and ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer for more. Phil, give us the details on this indictment.
So we're just looking through it right now. You hit the highlights, but right off the bat, you know, they go through all of his, all of the names that, because they have to do that in an indictment. They have to name all the names he's ever gone by. And then they talk about he relied on his employees and resources to influence the multifaceted business and what he would do. They allege that there were, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping. They allege arson, bribery, obstruction of justice. They go on to talk about how he would abuse women. They talk about kicking and punching and dragging and forcing them to have, they talked about highly coordinated sexual acts with male prostitutes. I mean, this is extensive. This seems to be everything that we have heard about in allegations. I haven't been through the entire thing yet. We're all looking through it. But so far, what I can tell just in the first couple of pages is most of the things they are alleging in this indictment we have heard about.
And Phil, I'm going to give you a chance to go through. I know I put you on the spot there, literally as we got that indictment now. Brian, walk me through legally. We've heard Diddy deny these charges, these accusations really throughout. Now they're officially charges. His attorney also before the indictment said that he's an imperfect person, but that he's not a criminal, again denying this. So what do you make of the fact that we're now seeing in black and white what the government is trying to charge him with?
Yes, so Diana, it makes it a lot more interesting as to how to dissect this case. We have three charges. We have a racketeering charge, or what we also hear as RICO. The second count being, as Phil articulated, what we all thought might be there, the sex trafficking through force, fraud, or coercion, and then, of course, the transportation of prostitution. Now, those are the first initial charges. There could be more coming down the line, depending on how this investigation goes, but this is what we know so far. When it comes to these charges, we're looking at life in prison as a maximum for at least the second count, and potentially the first as well. But also when it comes to RICO, how they're describing this enterprise as its way of promoting, enhancing, and protecting the brand, and that sex and sex trafficking was a part of it. We're going to see all the ugly and gruesome parts of bad boy entertainment that surround this alleged abuse in a way that I don't think many of us were prepared for.
Brian, can you talk about the degree to these charges? Because any kind of sexual abuse or sexual assault is bad enough, but it sounds like what they're describing is something that was really premeditated and coordinated.
Yeah, so when you're talking about RICO, you're talking about a criminal enterprise, and criminal enterprises can be anything. Oftentimes you associate RICO with like the mafia or things of that nature, money and violence. This seems to be more in line to, if you want to draw a comparison, to that of R. Kelly, where there was an organization within the music industry that kind of was part and parcel. They interacted with each other in a way way that you couldn't see where the music started and the alleged abuse ended. That it's almost the trafficking and transporting of women for the pleasure, for increasing the brand, for potentially even, hey, we want to get a new artist. So you know what? We're going to traffic this girl that he might be interested in a way of attracting and keeping this artist in a way to grow the brand and make money off of it. They are alleging that it.
I'm not gonna ever be happy in someone else's downfall, but I am thrilled for those who are victims of this man, who their life went a different direction because they thought that they were getting something sweet, but it turns out that they were getting something very, very sour and wicked.
Intertwined, that it's almost business as usual to do this trafficking and transporting, and at least that's what I'm reading from the initial allegations in this indictment.
We think of Diddy, we think of the music, but his influence goes far beyond that. How significant is it to have charges of this magnitude against someone who is this powerful?
It's huge. And just kind of give context to what Phil and what Brian is talking about. Diane, is in the conversation that we were just having a few moments ago. What I'm looking at from this unsealed indictment, of course, we need to learn a little bit more, is it seems like Cassie was such a big part of this indictment. A lot of these indictments comes from the lawsuit and allegations that Cassie was actually discussing. In particular, you think about arson. I know people.
Shout out to Cassie. Because of her bravery, this man is now going to face charges for the crimes that he committed. So shout out to Cassie for this, for being so brave.
Wondering where is the arson coming from. In Cassie's lawsuit, she alleged that Diddy threatened to blow up a current rapper Kid Cudi's car, to which Kid Cudi's car did blow up in an explosion, to which Kid Cudi then gave a statement and said that he can confirm that actually happened. I'm thinking that's where the reference of the arson comes from. I'm also thinking about the male prostitutes. Cassie alleges that during that time, Diddy would force her to look on the internet to solicit male prostitutes in order to engage in sexual activities. I'm assuming that is where the male prostitute dynamic is coming from. In terms of kidnapping, Cassie also has alleged in her lawsuit the forceful nature to which Sean Combs would remove her from events, from social settings, from gatherings, and keep her in housing in order to perform these activities. When it comes to the idea of the enterprise, to kind of translate that to what Brian Buckmeyer just said so eloquently, culturally, what Diddy was. Diddy was the kind of person where if you were in the music industry, you wanted to be around. If you were trying to make your mark as an A&R executive, if you were trying to make your mark in the marketing, if you were trying to make your mark in order to hang out with him, to go to his home in the white parties in the Hamptons, that's how much of a pull Diddy had. I cannot underscore how Diddy had this concept and this idea of the Midas touch. And Diane, being a part of the music industry, being around Diddy, being around those events, being at his home in the Hamptons, being at his home in Miami, I had firsthand accounts, not of these allegations, I didn't see any of that, but how desperate people were to be in his orbit. I can't underscore that enough. You think about the 40th birthday party that he had that I went to at Cipriani's. I mean, they had Mariah Carey, you had, I remember the royal family was invited. I can't remember if they attended or not, right? But you had those type of individuals wanting to be there, coming. You think about Diddy runs the city with marathons. This is the type of influence and pull that he had. And so when I think about the racketeering and the enterprise.
This is exactly why you are never supposed to be desperate for attention, affirmation, or a spot in a limelight, because it's because of the desire to want to be liked, to want to be loved, to want to be famous, that these type of people, unfortunately, have a sort of power over very vulnerable people who have dreams and desires to be something more than what they are. But this is why that type of personality or self-esteem is very dangerous for you to have. Don't thirst for any attention. Don't want any type of popularity to where you compromise your morals and who you are just to get close to these people, because these people are regular people. They do regular bad things, and on occasion they do regular good things. But, you know, they're still regular people, and they could be very, very demonic. They could be very evil, very wicked. Some can be, not wicked, not evil, not demonic at all. But people are just people. They will always let you down. They will always, in some way, shape, or form, lie to you, disappoint you, and in some cases harm you. And so you just kind of want to keep your eyes open, and you kind of want to just not be so eager and impulsive to just want more for yourself so bad that you put yourself in a position with these sort of people. Let's get back into the video.
Dynamic. It's just about people who wanted to be near him and who was willing to do anything for Diddy to give them affirmation and recognition.
And Phil, as you're going through that indictment, what is that anything? What sticks out to you?
Well, I mean, Mike laid it out. I just want to touch on one thing that you didn't, and this is the violence toward women. In this one section, it says, on multiple occasions from 2009 on, Combs assaulted women, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects, and kicking them. These assaults at times were witnessed, and then they go into the 2016 video that we saw of Cassie. So you're right, a lot of this stems from Cassie's allegations, but you see, I mean, they've got it laid out there.
And then Phil, to what you just mentioned too, in terms of the physical violence, not only is Cassie part of this, but also too the recent lawsuit that we saw from former Danny Kane group member Dawn Richard. Dawn Richard also says she witnessed these violent acts too as well.
All right, Phil, Mike, Brian, thank you.
One thing about the FBI is they sit on as much information as possible. When the FBI is quiet, you're in trouble, because the FBI usually tend to have a lot more information than they're putting out on the person who is being charged or convicted, or about to be convicted. So usually when the FBI is quiet, your chances of being innocent is probably very, very, very low, because the FBI likes to gather information, as much information as possible, where they can take down multiple people, not just one person, but a whole operation of something. And it seems as if Diddy have been getting away with this since the 90s. So at this point, he has a whole operation. He has different videos of different celebrities doing things, maybe heinous things, or very embarrassing, disgusting things that would keep them on his side, so that none of their information will come out. But the thing about it is like I said before, when evil is being done, the Lord always brings evil to the light. You can't prevail in evil. And I'm going to tell you also, this is what happens when you think you're God. If you do evil, your only path is destruction. You can't go anywhere else, because that's where the devil is. The devil is destruction. So if you're going down that path, you're only going to self-destruct. It don't matter how much money you got. It don't matter how much influence you got, you're going to self-destruct. And we're in the times where the Lord is exposing all wicked and all evil. Trust me, Diddy is not the first. He is not the last. He is just another piece of the puzzle. There's still going to be politicians that they get. There's going to be more celebrities. There's going to be even some people that are religious leaders as well. So if you're doing wicked things, it is coming to the light. We are in the end times where the Lord, our God, is exposing truth, lies, deception. He is exposing everything, and he is showing us what these people are truly behind closed doors, because there is something demonic. There's a demonic spirit operating through these people, and people worship them, they idolize them, and they don't notice that they're worshiping and idolizing demons and people who do workings of the devil. So yeah, that's all I have to say, and I will see you guys in my next video. Stay blessed.